Well, welcome to the channel, and you join me on a breezy, sunny, rather lovely day. And today it'll just be perfect for washing and drying, importantly, Big Dodge. If you saw the shorts video that I posted the other day, you'll see that I did have it running briefly, so I'm not predicting too many problems on that score in terms of getting it outside and giving it a quick wash down. I would like to do a bit more with it this year, but the first thing to do is just run it up. Now I can clean it up outside and inside. It's all quite dusty, what with there's been a fair bit going on in the field over there, and there's been building work next door, and it all blows around, blows in here because it's always breezy, and as a consequence it gets quite grubby, and I can't go dusting it all off. You have to rinse it off, because otherwise you risk scratching things, which isn't really a good idea. These old lorries, they do take a lot of looking after. If you think an old car takes a lot of TLC, well, just multiply it by the size of vehicle and you'll get some idea what it's like with an old lorry. But that's all part of the fun of it, and I've had this one 27 years now, so I'm pretty much used to it by now. So let's get her outside, cleaned, and it can be drying off in this lovely sunny weather. Right, first job is to get out this hose pipe and rinse it down. Of course, it's getting really windy now. Right, so I can break out the bucket and a bit of shampoo now. So that's rinsed off all the surface muck anyway. So I'll probably switch off recording from now because it's not going to be that thrilling watching me wielding a sponge and many buckets of water. So I'll come back when I'm back at the rinsing off stage again. Well, there we go, she can be drying off now. Now you may have noticed that it's not actually very shiny once it dries off. It still looks fairly matte, but that was always the idea with this. Let me just get out of the wind. Looking at the old photographs of it back in the day, it was not a shiny lorry. When it was repainted about 10 or 11 years ago now, the objective was never to have it super shiny, just to have like a bit of a sheen, just so it looked like it had been pulled out of a shed and dusted down. Now the paint process used, it was painted matte green and then it was given a clear coat, and the clear coat was given about 80% matting agent, if I remember correctly, just to tone things down, because I didn't want it to look like a boiled sweet. So many restorations, the vehicles, especially trucks, look very shiny, and they may have been very shiny when they were brand new, but when they were in use they just looked a bit grubby and, well, used for the most part. They were working vehicles. I didn't want this to look super shiny, so that's why we came up with this sort of approach to get the sheen that I wanted. Now, did it work? Well, yes, I think it did. I have had to wax polish it a couple of times, the old Simonize, but polishing it by hand is not fun. So what I'm going to do with this is like what I'm going to do with the Ford Anglia, and just give it the boiled linseed oil treatment, and that'll just give it the sheen that I want. Just as an experiment, I put some of the boiled linseed oil on the rear mudguard here. It's already drying off. It's quite a warm blowy day today, and that is just going to give it the kind of sheen I want. You compare it to here, that is just the right amount of shine that I wanted back in the day. If I have to repeat the application once a year, then so be it. It's a whole lot easier than polishing, or waxing rather. You can see here some of the sort of the brush marks. That is in the clear coat, not in the green. The green was sprayed on, so the green is uniform. Any slight mismatch in colour and shade is the clear coat, and that was the idea, to give it a bit of an aged look, but it is a little bit flat. So this will just bring it up a little bit without being too shiny. Once this dries off fully, I think it'll look just right. Yeah, she's drying off nicely now in the sun. It's just perfect weather for this. I mean, one of the objectives is to get it out to a like a breakfast classic vehicle meeting, sports car meeting, and I thought that'd be a good opportunity just to sort of let it stretch its legs and have a bit of a run out. It's not been out for quite a while. The last show it went to was the Goodwood Revival back in 2015. I did have the option of taking it back again in 2016, but I wasn't able to do it that year. Whether we'll get the chance again, I don't know, but at least we've done it. I can take that one off the list. But yeah, we've just got a small local breakfast meeting coming up in the not too distant future, so I thought it would be nice if this was washed, cleaned up, oily ragged, clean the inside as well. I'll do that shortly, and then see if we can whiz it out and take it down there, just give it a bit of an airing. Let's have a look at this wheel arch. Yeah, that's pretty much dry now, and that's made a huge difference. So doing the rest of it will keep me quiet for the next several days probably. Well, she's had a wash now. As it's drying so quickly, I think what I'm going to do, especially as that sample wheel arch dried off really quickly, I'm going to start oily ragging with the linseed oil, do the roof, because it's way easier to do it outside here rather than back in the garage. And it's looking such a great day and I've got a few hours of daylight ahead of me, I think we'll make a start doing that. Like I say, it's way easier to do it out here than in the garage, because the headroom is quite restricted up there. So I think we'll get the ladder out, get that sorted, clamber up there, and even if I just get the roof done while the truck's outside, it's going to make life a whole lot easier. It shouldn't take too long to do, because you literally just wipe it on, and it dries off, and being so breezy and warm, it's going to dry off really quite quickly, hopefully, so shouldn't get anything sticking to it, any passing bugs and bees and things like that. So yeah, if I can get that roof done today, I think I can consider that a real result. So let's crack on. Well, that's the roof done, can all be drying off now. Well, that's the back and the roof done, so I think that'll probably do for today. The rest I can do when it's in the garage, but today I just wanted to concentrate on the bits that I couldn't normally easily get at once it's inside. So yep, I think that's a great result. So I'll just leave it outside for as long as possible to dry off as much as possible, and then we'll put it away again. Well, I think that's pretty much it for today. It's backed in place, it can be drying off now in there. I've done the roof, the back doors, a little bit down the side, so everything else I can get to within there without having to bring it out again. That's quite handy. I mean, just for a wash it looks so much better. It's actually a bit of a precision job even backing it in here, because you have to watch the roof because it's not centralised in the garage. You have to watch up there because it gets a little bit close, so you just sort of monitor this gap here between the side of the truck and the cupboards there, and that gives you a fair idea of how close you are to where you need to be, because obviously I need room to get this out and little dodge. Anyway, that was a good day, and being Friday the 13th I was a little bit dubious about touching this today just in case something calamitous happened, but somehow managed to make it through the day without any disasters with the truck. The batteries are all switched off, I'll put those back on charge after, and just in the evenings I can carry on oily ragging the rest of it, i.e. the sides, the front, which I'm looking forward to. That'll be fun, and then it should be good to go. And if I have to do it maybe once a year, something like that, then it's not too bad. It's certainly preferable to trying to wax polish it regularly, because however hard I try, I always seem to get like swirl marks when I'm polishing this for some reason, so that never really works out well. But the oily rag approach, as well as looking perfect on a truck from the 1940s, it's just a whole lot more satisfying to do, and it's a lot less hard work when you've got a bit of RSI in your wrists, as I do. So anyway, there we go, it's all tucked away, so I'm going to carry on with that over the next couple of days or so, and let's just see it done. It might just be ready to take out somewhere in the very near future, fingers crossed.
it is gone. There it is.
Well, the Dodge's oily ragging session is coming on quite well. I'm about 2/3 of the way there. It's quite coincidentally, we just had a Avro Lancaster flyby, and sort of 80 years ago, this vehicle was taking out pilots, young pilots, to an aircraft just like that. So it all seems very appropriate and perfectly timed. So it's just slowly drying off. Obviously, what's over there has been on since yesterday, and it's going tacky. So it's going to take 2 or 3 days, but it's quite warm. So I'm hoping that this oily ragging session will dry off fairly quickly. It's just brought it up. Looking quite smart, I think. Well, that's all of it done. All oily ragged. And that can just be drying off over the next couple of days or so. Not sure we want to do that too often, but it's not the worst job in the world. It's certainly way easier than actually waxing something, having to polish it all up. The best way of putting on the boiled linseed oil is to put a very, very thin layer on, get it on the panel, do a panel at a time, get it on the panel, and then just move it all around in straight lines, because otherwise you end up with sort of swirls and twisty bits and all sorts of things when it actually dries. So just get it on, however you get it on, and then wipe it in one direction only. And I mean, it takes a long time to dry, so there's no rush, but it just means that the finished thing looks just that little bit better. But I'm really pleased with that. I mean, I had planned to obviously oily rag the Anglia first, but that's going to hold up well enough for the time being anyway, so I'll do that sometime. But I really wanted to do this. It was looking quite grubby, so I wanted to give it a clean, and I thought, well, now it's clean, this is the time to give it a quick wipe over, and then subsequent layers will be that bit easier to apply as well. So that's all worked out quite well. It's a little bit shiny, but it will dull off a little bit when it dries. Anyway, I think that'll do for today. Well, Big Dodge is all but ready to go out in the morning, but there's one thing I forgot about: these overhanging branches. Now, I've not taken the truck out for a little while, so basically it skipped my mind completely that these branches need trimming back, and there are quite a few that need trimming back so that I don't scrape the roof as I pull out. With a car, it doesn't really matter. There's no problem with that overhang, but when the truck is however high it is, it's a bit of an issue. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to take her out tomorrow.